Yes.
कह रहे हैं बस स्थान ठीक है, अगर आपके में मिस्टिक पावर हो तो आप यहाँ पे पहुंच जाइए।
कहाँ पे है?
लेगोस, वेस्ट अफ्रीका।
अफ्रीका में?
हाँ।
अच्छा, ये वहाँ
I think they did that and they do them like steel, fancy flowers and all that. They celebrated this because almost the picture they were wearing South Indian dress. Yes. Because that is our traditional. Yeah, I saw Dragon about she was on one picture with the same thing. Yeah. Our caste is this one. We are making it there. This South Indian songs. We are the caste. There is no trouble.
Reading from Vrindavan Mahimamrita, Prabodhananda Saraswati. And this section is section 14 in our notes. It's called The Enchantment of the Love Land of Play. We're hearing different verses explaining how everything is attainable in Vrindavan. Shri Brindaranya Yasho Bhamrita Lahari Samarlokato Vivala Me. Tristir Vabatu Vrindavana Mahima Sudha Varido Majatadhi. Maybe I recorded this already. I have it marked over here. Shri Brindaranya Bhumo Luto Mama Tanor Vivalananda Pore Shri Brindavana Brindanya Satvesh Aha Tata Ito Dandavan Menati Syat. Let my eyes become overwhelmed watching the beautiful nectarine waves of the forest of Vrindavan. Let my intelligence become merged in the nectarine ocean, the glories of Vrindavan. Let my body roll on the ground of Vrindavan, absorbed in spiritual bliss. May I always offer obeisances to all the living entities residing in Vrindavan. Dandavan me nati syat. Nati means obeisances. Sankhya Purvaka Nama Gana Nati Bi. They were Sankhya, all these things, Sankhya Nati Bi, Sankhya Purvaka Nam, Sankhya Gan, Sankhya Purvaka Nama Gana Nati Bi. They were counting so many numbers of obeisances, so many stutis and stotrams and prayers, so many malas, so many rounds of japa, Sankhya Purvaka Nama Gana Nati Bi. So Dandavan, I'm offering obeisances by offering dandavats. Aha, Rindaranya Satveshu, aha. All the living entities. My eyes become overwhelmed. Lahari Samarlokato, Vivalame. Let's look at another translation here. 114. May my eyes become overwhelmed with ecstasy by seeing the nectar waves of Vrindavan's beauty. May my intelligence drown in the nectar ocean of Vrindavan's glories. May my body become agitated by the swiftly moving currents of ecstatic bliss, and thus roll about on the ground of Vrindavan, falling down like a stick, because Dandavan means actually possessing the qualities of a stick. Falling down like a stick, may I offer my respectful obeisances to all the residents of Vrindavan. So that's the complete form of obeisances, to offer dandavats. Dandavats means to offer eight of your possessions at the feet of another. Obeisances Dandavats means to offer 8 of your possessions at the feet of another. And those 8, of course, are the physical body, include the physical body and the mental body. Kayo Manovakya. Dandavats means Kayo Manovakya. Offering Dandavats means to offer the Kayo Manovakya. Kayo means body. And Vakya means words, and Mana means mind. So the real meaning of Dandavats, and it's not that we see some sannyasi say, Dandavats Maharaj, Dandavat. Very common Bengali expression in Gaudiya Sampradaya. One devotee meets another, Dandavat Prabhu, Dandavat. Maharaj, Dandavats, Dandavats. But it has a very deep meaning. That's the definition. There's the head and the chest and the 2 arms and 2 legs, and these are like 6 body parts. And then, which is the basic corporal body, or the kayo. And then the 7th one is vakya, means words. You speak something, pranam mantra, or so-and-so jai ho. Out loud, something is spoken. And then the final one is mind. The mind is offered. When we say Dandavats Prabhu, who's actually offering their mind at the feet of another person? Offering a mind means that I'm filling my mind with you. If I'm offering my mind to you, it means I'm giving you my mind, so fill my mind with you. So we come into Guru, we come before an Acharya or an advanced spiritual personality, and we offer Dandavats. We lie in the ground, and we're offering our mind. First we offer our mind. We offer our mind and our hand. Here, take my mind, I offer it to you. Please accept it. Now shape it, and shape it properly, and fill it with Krishna Bhakti. And then my body is submitted at your feet for your service, and my words are glorifying you, which is a perfection of speech to glorify Uttama Shloka, to glorify the Lord and His devotees. This is the perfection of speech. And this perfection of mind and intelligence is to be fixed in the service of Guru and God, Guru and Krishna. This is Dandavats. Prabhupada Saraswati, this is what he means when he says Dandavan. Possessing that quality of a danda, that submission and non-argumentative mood of a danda lying at the feet of another. Dandavan. This way I lie when I see the trees of Vrindavan, I offer Dandavats to them and I glorify them. Oh, glories to the Kadamba trees of Vrindavan. Oh, Kadamba tree, oh, glories to you. Oh, Gomata, all glories to you. And what happens is the entities of Vrindavan are all conscious beings. And they're all Krishna conscious beings. The trees and the birds and the cows and the people, for the most part. And even when one is interacting with animals, like cows or trees, and showing heartfelt respects and offering dandavats, falling like a stick before them, the living entities understand that. They understand your mentality, actually. Because it's one thing if you offer your body, you just get down, oh, there's a cow. It says in the scriptures you should offer respects to a cow. Or I get down, offer respects to this tree. But the keynote is to offer your mind and your words. To actually speak the glories of, understand and recognize the glories of the entity whom you are offering dandavats to. And recognizing that, understanding it, then you will act accordingly by speaking something heartfelt and genuine and true. And the mind will be saturated with that genuine mood of submission to that living entity. Namaha. No, Namaha. Na-maha. Maha means ego. Maha. Maha means ego. No ego. I am yours. Please be merciful to me. I am your servant. Because we have the experience of trying to understand what dandavats means. studying it to some extent, and trying to practice offering dandavats to different living entities with the proper mentality, the best we can muster, and some genuine glorification. And obviously the people can perceive the quality of your actions, the backing of your actions. What is the bhav? It's not only Krishna or Bhagavan that can gauge and measure and clearly perceive the emotional content of a jiva's heart, but even a regular human being can also, to some extent, measure the quality of another person's heart. You can fool some of the people some of the time, but you can't fool Krishna any time. I like to say it like that. Therefore, as we say, it's told in Shastras that Krishna is Bhava Grahi Janardhan, that he accepts the bhav, the essence of bhav, because he can read the emotional content of the heart. Is it real? Is it true? Is it genuine? Is it fake? Is it false? Is it imitative? Oh, monkey see, monkey do. Is it monkey see, monkey do bhav? For example, there's one cow in this neighborhood, and we understand the glories of Krishna's cows, and to some extent we understand and we appreciate their existence, and we feel indebted to them and grateful to them. But moreover, they're seeing them as individual devotees of the Lord and wonderful, pure servants of the Lord. When one offers dandavats to, say, this cow, for example, whether one has any food, it's not that it's some kind of, you're giving food so they recognize you, like a dog becomes faithful to anybody who gives him bread every day for 5 days. If there's some dog outside your door and you throw him a piece of bread every day, then he'll wag his tail when he sees you and become your friend. That's a different thing I'm talking about. Even without giving any food to reinforce behavior, B.F. Skinner's behavior reinforcement program. As a psychology, if anyone studies psychology, they have these models they give. Reinforce and give a rat a pellet, and then it'll ring the bell to get the pellet. All these things. But the cow, you just simply offer dandavats out of love and appreciation, and the cow looks at you. And then you do that regularly, and pretty soon you have a relationship develops with that cow. And then when you come down the street, they'll look and look at you like they're saying hello. They'll move their head in such a way. Or when you go to pet them, then they'll put their head on the ground at your feet. They'll offer dandavats in return. And those gwals and cowherd boys, or men rather, that take care of cows, generally it's the men these days. Krishna's time, the ladies, of course, and men also, the gopis and gopas. They're all cowherd people, Brijvasis. But the men, they remark that they say it's the cow. If the cow puts its head on the ground like that at your feet, it means that it's submitting to you and accepting your heart from her heart. Have you noticed? So this is the reciprocation between two devotees genuinely feeling towards each other. As we heard yesterday in Chaitanya Bhagavat, about the reciprocation between Advaita and Nityananda when they met after some separation at Shantipur, how they ran to each other and lovingly embraced, and they started tumbling on the ground, wrapped in a tight, loving embrace, and then laughing and breaking the embrace and trying to touch each other's feet and in utmost humility and appreciation of one another and gratitude. This is Vrindavan. So this is Dandavan Me Nati Syat. May I always offer obeisances at the feet of all living entities who reside in Vrindavan. It's not as simple obeisances. This word, obeisance. Obeisance is Prabhu. I always say Pam Ho or something. What do we say? Pam Ho. In this modern abbreviated world, everything's abbreviated. Life is also abbreviated. People don't live very long. They used to live to be 100. They used to live to be 100. And now they're lucky they live to be 60 or 70. Everything's abbreviated. So now our communication is abbreviated, our feelings are abbreviated, our moments together are abbreviated, our exchanges are abbreviated, our life itself is abbreviated. 100 years has become 50. I have no time. Everyone somehow or other, no one has any time. I have all the time in the world for computers, but no time at all for people. This seems to be the modern adage, whatever. The modern, what can you say, the way, the modern way. I have unlimited time for computers. I have no time for people. I'm busy. I have to go home and go on the net. Bye. Can't stay long at this party. There's a special podcast tonight. Can't stay long and chant Hare Krishna or the Sankirtan. Anyway, everyone knows what that means, but I don't. It's unfortunate. So in that line of abbreviated communication and activities and relationships, then we say, Pam Ho, please accept my humble obeisances. Or even some people say, humbles or something. Please accept my humbles. I've heard that also. People write longhand, and please accept my humbles. But this concept is something new, obviously. Abbreviated consciousness, abbreviated behavior, abbreviated lifespans. But 500 years ago, at the time of Prabhupada Saraswati, people did live to be 100. And people did have the qualities. They actually had the Dandavan. We have Bhagavan Sri Krishna. Bhagavan means one who possesses Bhagya, so many auspicious, Sareshvarya, Purna, Aishvaryasya Samagrasya, Viryasya Yasashashriya. At any rate, the idea is that Bhaga means possesses all wonderful qualities. And Bhagavan, the suffix van means to possess, so van, dandavan means actually you possess these qualities of a danda, and there's 8 qualities of the meaning of dandavan for a Vaishnava is 8 qualities. And I mean, there's as I mentioned, the body, mind, and words that means dandavan. If you possess this mood, it's a mood. The words convey your mood, the mind conveys your mentality, and the body is the expression of both. How you present yourself. So bodies may lie on the ground, but the minds are elsewhere. The words are not even spoken. Gada Shakti Matam Apiha Vishayesh Vatyanta Nirvedato Drikpate Yasahish Nutati Shayanam Yoge Samudyoginam Pramandara Saikalina Manasam Govinda Padambuja Twandvara Vishtadiyam cha Mohanam Idam Vrindavanam Swaragune. The minds of those who are extremely attached to material enjoyment, who, due to renunciation, are extremely intolerant even to look at material enjoyment, who are advanced on the path of mystic yoga, whose hearts are absorbed in the happiness of impersonal Brahman, and even the minds of those devotees who are firmly fixed at the lotus feet of Govinda are bewildered by the transcendental qualities of Sri Vrindavan. There's 3 tattvas that are very difficult to understand. What are those 3 tattvas? Guru tattva, Dham tattva, and Shiv tattva. The glories and identity of Lord Shiva, and the glories and identity of the Guru, and the glories and identity of Sri Dham Vrindavan. Very difficult to understand. Brahma could not understand. Indra could not understand. The greatest saints and rishis could not understand. Durvasa Muni came, he could not understand the glories of Vrindavan. He once went to Gokul because someone told him that Swayam Bhagavan was playing in the dirt in Raman Reti in Gokul. So we're saying that Durvasa Muni heard that Swayam Bhagavan, Sri Krishna, was now a child, Gopal, playing in the sands of beautiful, pleasurable delightful sands of Rama and Reti in Gokul as a 3-year-old boy with a black string around his waist and some tiger nails tied around his, necklace. He was wearing a tiger nail, 2 tiger nails embedded in gold around his neck, and a little string of golden bells around his waist and a little black string. And he was running around playing with Balaram and Sridham and Subal and all the boys. Little 3-year-old boy, no clothes. The boys in the village, they don't wear any clothes. They start wearing a shirt when they're about 5, but still no underwear, because they may be, something something going on. So if there's only a shirt, then there's no problem for anything below that. So he was playing like that. So then Dhirvasumuni went there and he sat under a tree kind of secretly, and he was observing under a banyan tree that boys were playing and laughing in the sand, and they were wrestling and playing hide and seek, and he was amazed. He was totally chamatkar. How is this possible? Who is this? What is this Vrindavan? I'm Brahm. This is Vrindavan. I'm totally Brahm. What is this Vrindavan? I'm Mohanam. Diya Mohanam. I'm bewildered. My intelligence is totally bewildered by the qualities of this Vrindavan. I don't understand. And what's happening here? What am I seeing? He's watching and watching, and they're laughing, and then they stop. They're hungry. They're hungry from playing, so they stop and they sit under a tree and they get some leaves and pieces of a bark and a leaf here and there and whatever they can find, and they take out their little tiffin carriers, and they take out their samosas, and someone has a little clay container tied with a leaf on top and some vines tying it tight, and there's yogurt inside. Some boys, Krishna starts climbing a tree like a monkey. He goes to the dak tree. There's one tree called dak. He climbs up the dak tree, and there's some leaves that are when they come out, they unfurl like this, and as they stay in the tree, they curl up naturally like this. That's what they do with the dak leaf. There's a type of banyan. And then it curls up like that, and then it becomes a beautiful natural leaf cup. When Krishna picked a bunch of those leaves, these dak leaves, and came down so he could share his yogurt with all the boys, because he had the best yogurt in town. So he everyone had their yogurt and their samosas and kachoris, and Sridham, his mother, made a big clay pot the night before and put it on the roof. It was nice and cold, of rubbery. Big clay pot of 2 or 3 kilos, 5 kilos of rubbery. So much malai and thick cheese on it. It was like unbelievable. So they start serving this out on pieces of bark or some tree. One boy used a tree, another boy got a big rock, and he put it there and put the yogurt on the rock and the samosas. And they're all sitting around laughing, eating, and Krishna took some rubbery, and then someone put their hand on his plate and took it off his plate. He said, "What is that?" And then he grabbed their samosa and stole the samosa from another boy's plate. And Dhirvasumuni is watching. So then they finished. Then they were playing some game where the boys they follow the birds. There's birds in the tree, and they shake the tree and scare the birds. Then the birds fly out of the tree, and then they start flying along the banks of the Yamuna on the sand. And so their wings are giving a shadow on the sand. The sun is coming from the top side, and it's giving a shadow of the bird. And then the boys try to chase the shadows on the sand. And then they watch, and then how long you can follow. As soon as you lose the shadow, you lost, then you're out of the game. The next one runs. So then that very tree where those birds were, Dhirvasumuni was sitting under that tree. So when they went and shook, and they started running, they said, "Hey, who's that?" There was somebody over there. So then Krishna went back, and the boys went back, and they saw this rishi with his eyes like this, like, "What's this? And what are these boys doing? I don't believe it. What is this Vrindavan? What is this Bala Gopal? What is going on?" And then Krishna went over to him, and then he said, "Hey, Rishi, hey, Baba." And he came up and he sat on, and he came up and pulled his beard. "What are you doing? What's wrong? Wake up. Are you all right? Are you all right, Baba?" And Krishna pulled his beard, said, "Wake up, Baba. You're in a trance. It's all right. What's wrong? You're all right?" And then he's like, and Dhirvasumuni is a great pundit, and he knows all the Vedas, and he's a great yogi, and Rishi is considered an Amsha of Lord Shiva. Dhirvasumuni is like like Shakti, Vaishya of something of Lord Shiva, expansion. Dhirvasumuni. So he's So then Krishna ran away laughing with the boys, and then Krishna just came back and he put his hands on his hips like this, and he looked at Durvasa Muni and just looked at him an eye like this, and Durvasa Muni was like spellbound, looking in Krishna's eyes, and then Krishna opened his mouth like that, and he inhaled, and Durvasa Muni went inside Krishna's mouth, and inside the mouth, Krishna took him for a whole journey through the whole universe. Inside his mouth, he traveled all over the universe and went to all these planets, and he went to Goloka Vrindavan, and he saw Krishna. Then he came out, and Krishna opened his mouth, and he came out again. Then as soon as he saw Krishna, he came out, he opened Dandavas, and started praying, "Oh my God, who are you? I don't know who you are. What is this Vrindavan?" So this is an example of how the greatest yogis, and of course he's also the greatest yogi and a great devotee also, the greatest yogis and the greatest devotees are bewildered by the transcendental qualities of Vrindavan. Ananda Kanda Bhagavana ki, Bala Gopala ki, Gopala Deva ki. So I'll read another translation here. Chapter 21. Same verse. That's 21, right? The materialists who are strongly attached to the objects of the senses, the ascetics who cannot tolerate even a glimpse of sense happiness, the earnestly endeavoring yogis, the impersonalists whose minds are merged in Brahman happiness, and devotees who have entered the lotus flower of Lord Govinda's feet, are all enchanted by the transcendental qualities of Vrindavan. So this is as I mentioned, this whole section is about the enchantment of the love land of play. So it's so enchanting. That's a more accurate and correct translation than the first one we read, because the first one said bewildered. So taking off the meaning of bewildered, of course some yogis are also bewildered because this Leela is there of Durvasa Muni also. But moreover, it's saying they're enchanted, they're attracted. They get some glimpse of Vrindavan, or they hear something about Vrindavan, and they become enchanted and they want that Vrindavan. They want it so much they want to take birth there. And they want it so much they want to give up their form as rishis and become females. They want to give up their great rishis and great vidvans and pandits and shrutidaras. They're the shrutis themselves personified as the most respected and renowned sages of knowledge throughout the entire universe. But when they heard something about Vrindavan and the glories of Krishna and the gopis in Vrindavan, they said, that's it. This is the most enchanting thing I've ever heard. This is the most enchanting prospect I could ever imagine, to live in that land of Vrindavan and to be a gopika servant of Shyam Sundar Sri Krishna. I want this. Forget about my yogi body, forget about my rishi, brahman, pandit body as a shruti-chari. I want to become a gopi. I became so enchanted they did austerities for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. Then they took birth in Boma Vrindavan from the wombs of gopis, the shruti-charis. And then finally they entered the rasa dance. The dance was Krishna. This is the enchantment of the land of Vrindavan. This is Vrindavan Mahimamrita, the glories of Vrindavan. Now we're reading about the enchantment of the love land of play. Random shlokas. Devyaneka vichitra pushpa phala vadavali taranam tatir. Devyaneka mayura kokila sukadyananda madhyat kalaha. Devyaneka sara sarangiri vara pratyagra kunjavali. Divya kanchana ratna bhumir apimam vrindavane mohoyat. The Prabhupada Saraswati says, my mind has certainly been enchanted by the various divine wonderful trees and creepers of Vrindavan. The blissful overwhelming sounds of the various the blissful overwhelming sounds of the various transcendental birds of Vrindavan, like peacocks and parrots. And I'm enchanted by the fresh groves of Vrindavan, decorated with various transcendental lakes, rivers, and mountains. And I'm also enchanted, my mind is thoroughly enchanted by the transcendental jewel-studded golden land of Vrindavan. So he's appreciating the Madhurya aspect of Vrindavan and the Aishvarya aspect, which Vrindavan has both woven into its very firmament. There's the Aishvarya aspect and the Madhurya aspect. There's flowers and creepers, and there's jeweled inlaid bathing ghats, and there's palaces, and there's kunjas, and there's everything together. The beautiful pastoral setting of the forest and the natural beauty of the forest, and pure lakes and waterfalls and rivers. And then there's some very opulent palaces, and as it says, jewel-studded golden land of Vrindavan. Jewel-studded because it's Chintamani. It says that the gopis, when they walk on the land of Vrindavan, although Chintamani gems, we hear that when Brahma saw the spiritual world, he glorified it. Chintamani prakata sadmashu kalpavriksha laksha vriteshu surabhira vipalyantam lakshmi sahasra sata sambrahma sevyamanam govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. That's one verse, Chintamani prakata sadmashu kalpavriksha. So we saw the kalpavriksha trees in the Chintamani bhumi. So Brajabhumi is also Chintamani bhumi. Chintamani, thought gem. This land is such that whatever you think, whatever you desire, whatever you want, the land itself will give it to you. The particles, there's Chintamani. This is the nature of this land. So these are the jewels that he's talking about, the jewel-studded golden land. And they're also actually jewels. It says that unlike others that are so much desire, people want to have a sparshamani or chintamani. Sparshamani, the philosopher's stone, is some kind of substance that it's a rock or something like this, and if you touch it to a piece of iron, then the iron will turn into gold. And Sanatana Goswami had one of those called touch stone. It's some type of stone. Sparsha money. It does one thing, which is a good thing, I suppose. Since this is the Iron Age of Kali, and people want gold. People want Satyuga in the Kali Yuga. Because Satyuga is the golden age. Maybe in Satyuga people were anxious to have iron. Maybe iron was very costly. Very rare thing. It's only available in Kali Yuga. Everywhere iron, this age everything's iron. But the Chintamani it's everything jewel. Money means jewel, it's everything. Chinta, whatever chinta means, your idea, your conception, your chintana, your thought wave, your thought vibration. There's two aspects of this Chintamani bhumi. One is that it's actual gems. Very costly, inconceivably beautiful and attractive, sparkling and glistening gems. And they're coated, the surface of Vrindavan is coated with them. The Rupa Goswami explains in one pada that the gopis don't care anything for the Chintamani jewels. But sometimes they pick them up and they make some necklace to offer to Krishna. And then it talks about the kalpavriksha trees in Vrindavan. They're fruit trees, they're mango trees and guava trees and papaya and so many cherries and jambu fruits and many, many fruits in the trees in Vrindavan. And they're not only fruit trees as we ordinarily see, but they're a kalpavriksha, they'll fulfill desires. But when the gopis go to the kalpavriksha trees, they don't express any desire. They simply pick the mangoes and they peel them and they make some fruit salad for Radha and Krishna's afternoon lunch prasadam at Radhakund. They're not so eager to, because they have Krishna's eternal service, so that's the greatest fortune. So he's enchanted by this jewel-studded land, golden land, Vrindavan. He's seeing it as a golden land of Vrindavan because he's a gopi. His is gopi dristi. Supaksha gopi dristi. Supaksha Sakhi dristi. Radharani and Krishna, sometimes they have an argument. Who's in charge of Vrindavan? Is Vrindavaneshwara Krishna in charge, or Vrindavaneshwari Radha's in charge? And the gopis argue that, without a doubt, undeniably, Radharani and no one else is fully in charge of every aspect of Vrindavan. Just see, our Swamini is so pervasive and so influential that her beautiful golden effulgence is tinting everything in the forest with a golden hue and color, like her transcendental body, Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi, Radhe Vrindavaneshwari, Vrishabhana Sute Devi, Pranamami Hari Priye. So she's Vrindavaneshwari, and Tapta Kanchana Vrindavaneshwari Radha. And then Krishna looks around with Madhamangal and Subal and says, yeah, it looks very golden. Everything looks golden. So Tungavidya Sakhi, the Swapaksha Sakhi, Swapaksha means my group, my own group. My gopis, they see things the way I see things. Do you see things eye to eye with me? This phrase is often there. We're not seeing eye to eye. Well, that's good. You're married to somebody else. We shouldn't be seeing so much eye to eye. This is a phrase, we don't have analogous ideas, or we're not in harmony with our conceptions. So the gopis, they see it like that. But then, when Krishna enters the forest with the cowherd boys and the sakas, and there's no gopis around, and Radharani's not there, Radha's prabhav is somewhat distant, then the gopas, they glorify Krishna. They say, "My Sham, look how the forest has taken a beautiful bluish hue. When you wear blue sunglasses or yellow sunglasses, everything appears blue or yellow according to the color of the lens." So they said, "See, look, everything." And Krishna's saying, "Yes, it's right." But then, when Krishna meets with Radharani, he sees that actually she is lending the whole forest a golden hue. And then he feels he's defeated. But he's defeated, so then Krishna's effulgence in defeat admits defeat before the effulgence of Radharani, and then mixes with that effulgence. And then the forest takes on an emerald green color. Because when you mix yellow and blue, you get green. So the emerald green hue of the forest of Vrindavan is symbolic of Krishna's defeat at the hands of Radharani. Jai Jai Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Radha Rani Ki Jai. So this is the mind is enchanted by the transcendental jewel-studded golden land of Vrindavan. There's another translation for this same beautiful verse. His mind is enchanted by this wonderful Vrindavan. When will that day come when our minds are enchanted by Vrindavan? Now our minds are enchanted by Maya. Maya Mriga. The mind of our deer-like mind. In Vrindavan, the trees and vines filled with multitudes of wonderful, transcendental, splendid flowers and fruits. And the trees are filled with the blissful, excited cooing of multitudes of splendid, transcendental peacocks. This is Kushakrata's translation. He loves this word splendid. In many of his books and verses, in some verses he said the splendid goes on forever. And there are many adjectives you could use: the elegant, the splendid, the effulgent, the refulgent, the radiant. There are a few adjectives for splendid, but he locked into the splendid thing and just stays there forever. But so this is the splendid transcendental peacocks and the splendid cuckoos and splendid parrots and splendid other birds, and the many multitudes of splendid transcendental lakes, streams, hills, and newly blossoming forest groves, as well as the golden ground studded with jewels, have all enchanted me.
Always calling for
So that's certainly if one has experienced all those things at one time, or even partially, his mind will be duly enchanted. We might ask the question at this juncture, where are those transcendental streams and lakes? And where are those forest groves? I see groves of cement high-rise buildings, cement groves. The forests are replaced by forests of cement. As the jungles of trees and parrots and vines and creepers are replaced by an asphalt jungle. Unfortunately, the marching of civilization, what we call so-called civilization, the splendid cooing of the peacocks and parrots and cuckoos. Vrindavan and Raminreti area was known as being a very lonely place in 1977 and up to like 1985. Probably up to 1985, maybe even, I don't know, maybe 90 at maximum. Raminreti was a very much, especially from south of the main road there, or let's say north of the main road, and the Parikamarga is a very enchanting place, lots of deep dark forests. You could walk inside the forest there and go on the Vrindavan Parikamarga, and then you go past the Krishna Balaram tree, then go straight, go zigzag for a while, then you turn right and go a long way straight along the Yamuna. You go left that way, and you go up that way, it was all forests. Even I saw in 77, 80, 85. Many deep forests, when you go inside these trees, you couldn't see the light of the sun coming down. And then even the guest house, you would stay in the Krishna Balaram guest house at ISKCON Raminreti. And at early morning, 4 o'clock, there's this particular time, certain times in the evening, if you stay up all night, the peacocks, they have their schedule. And in that whole area, there was literally thousands of peacocks, thousands. And the sound was deafening, even from the guest house, Krishna Balaram guest house, deafening sound. Usually they would start during Ratrikal, when Radha and Krishna's Leela, and you would just feel like Radha and Krishna, they've been quiet all night, the peacocks. And all of a sudden, 11:30, 12, they hoo, hoo. Somebody, ho, 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 and there's 50 or 60 in a clump of trees, and then they call out to another, oh, here they come, the divine couple are coming. They're going to Vamshivat. They're running along to Vamshivat. And look. Listen, everyone, why are you sleeping? Wake up. It's happening. The Leela is happening now. It's happening. Do you hear? Listen, you can hear the ankle bells of the gopis running down the footpath to meet Sham at Vamshivat. This is Vrindavan. So loud sound. Now, I don't hear anything. Can't hear. They all flew away or went somewhere. I don't know where they went. Back to Godhead, I guess. The peacocks. And then they would start at that time, Ratrikal, and then at every single, without fail, 4 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock, 4:30, Mangalartik time, it just resound. You can almost set your clock on it. If you're lying in your room, you don't have a clock, and you hear, ho, ho, ho. So, it must be 4 o'clock, 4:30. The next thing you hear is, Samsara Dav. Oh, I'm a little late for Mangalarti. You can hear the peacocks. And with such an enchanting sound, you go on the roof early in the morning, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, in guest house, chant japa, and right behind you, so many birds in the forest, and we had that experience, and so we can reach into the recesses of our memory banks of our mind and find some sweet enchanting moments and days and months in the Vrindavan. And what was it 500 years ago when Prabhupada Saraswati sat on the banks of the Yamuna at Kaliyadaha, And it's all forest everywhere, huge kadamba trees and plaksha trees and arjun trees and vyagra trees and nyogra trees and banyan trees, all auspicious trees in every direction. He was writing this book, glorifying Vrindavan. So now, at that time, people would read this book in Sanskrit. It was written in Sanskrit in different places here, whatever they may read it. Then they would say, oh, let us go to that Vrindavan, the land of Krishna. They used to have a big signboard when you would come down from Delhi. I remember that signboard on the road. You would turn left on the Chatikar road to go into the temple. There's only signboard all of Vrindavan at that entrance. And it said, welcome Vrindavan, the land of Krishna. Now it's all signboards about, I don't know what, advertising for apartment houses and this and that. Welcome to Cement City. But he was right in the thick of it. So now we're reading this book 500 years later, and Vrindavan is rapidly disappearing in front of our eyes and being replaced by people and buildings and roads and cars and all kinds of contraptions to pollute the environment and congest the atmosphere and destroy the natural transcendental ambience of Vrindavan. But still, this book, Vrindavan Mahimamrita, is very important because it develops Purva Rag. It increases our attachment to want to go to that Vrindavan, where there are transcendental peacocks and cuckoos and parrots and multitudes of transcendental lakes and streams and hills and forest groves. That's that faraway place, the dreamland. These are concrete descriptions of the spiritual world which we hope to attain at the end of our life. So we read about this and we think in our mind and we try to create the Vrindavan in our mind. When Krishna left this world and became apricot lila, unmanifest pastimes, he took a lot of things with him. All his parishads especially. But he left 3 things in Vrindavan to somehow or other, I don't know why, because Govardhan came from the spiritual world, but with Krishna, when he was leaving the spiritual world, then at the advent to manifest his Vrindavan Leela, then he was going, and Radharani said, Krishna said, I'm going, and Radharani said, and Krishna said to Radharani, are you coming with me? And she said, no. Said, if you're going to the material world to do this yada yada hidharmasya glanir bhavati bharata bhutanama dharmasya, Radharani spoke that verse from Gita. She said, you're going there yada yada hidharmasya to establish dharma, because it's been glani, broken and distorted over time, and ulterior motivated people. I won't go unless you bring Vrindavan there. And I won't go unless you bring Yamuna there. And I won't go unless you bring Govardhan there. So then Krishna said, Tatastu. So then he brought Govardhan and the Brajaraj of Vrindavan Dham and Jamunaji. And when they all left, returned to the spiritual world, then Krishna asked Govardhan, he said, please, you stay here for some time, and Yamuna Devi, and the Brajaraj, you stay here, to benefit and bless all the souls. So living in Vrindavan means Govardhan, Jamuna and Brajaraj especially. These are the gifts of Krishna, direct gifts of mercy. And to live here and then to read this Vrindavan Mahimamrita and deeply meditate on the transcendental spiritual Vrindavan as it is, as it's so clearly beautifully being described here, with the help of this land, with the powerful wish-fulfilling potency of the land of Vrindavan, of Giriraj has unlimited wish-fulfilling potency, and so does Jamunaji and the Brajaraj, then our desire to attain the spiritual world that we're reading about and to live there eternally in the service of Radharani and Krishna and the groves of Vrindavan will come to fruition in one lifetime. This is the power of Vrindavan. So we live here physically and to take advantage of the transcendental mercy here, which enhances and accelerates our bhakti by 1,000%. People have computers and they get these programs to enhance the performance of their computers. It says turbo booster. Turbo boost your computer. All these different kinds of ideas. So this Vrindavan is a turbo booster for your bhakti. But bhakti in Vrindavan must be guided by Anuragi Vaishnavas in order to go in the right direction and properly get the right result. There's a verse, Rupa Goswami says the same thing in Upadeshamrita. Braje tishtan anuragi anugami. Braje tishtan anuragi anugami. One should live in Braje tishtan, under the guidance of an Anuragi Vaishnava, Anugami, and follow him, because he will teach you how to behave in Vrindavan and how to live in Vrindavan, how to serve Vrindavan, and how to cultivate that most necessary purvarag, that intense mood of developing love and attachment for Krishna, whom we never met, and for Radha, whom we've never met, and for Vrindavan, which we never lived in. So this class is all about that. Vrindavan Mahimamrita, verses describing the enchantment of the love land of play, Sridham Vrindavan. This is chapter 2, verse 6. Vrindatavyam aganita chirananda chandrojvalayam sandra premamrita rasa parispandane shitalayam kujan mata dvija kula vitanalpa kalpa drumayam radha krishnavachala virito kasyano yati cheta. Prabodhananda Saraswati Pad is glorifying Vrindavan by saying, Vrindavan, the abode of Vrindavan, is illuminated by innumerable moon rays of transcendental bliss. Aganita Chirananda Chandrojvalayam. Vrindavan is cooled by the nectarine mellows of ecstatic love. Shitalayam. Premamrita rasa parispandane shitalyam. Shita means ice or cold. Shitoshna shukadugada agama paino nichas tamsa tiksha shabharata. We should tolerate the heat or the cold. Matra sparshas to kontaya shitoshna shukadugada agama paino nichas tamsa tiksha shabharata. So we are all living in Bharatvarsha, so we must follow the instruction of Gita and perform the tikshava. Tolerate the cold waters of Radhakund, or the cold morning air, and the cold baths, and the cold floors, and the cold clothes, and the cold beds, and everything cold. We have to tolerate. And then in a few months we'll get another feature of Vrindavan. Very, very hot. Very hot, scorching hot. The floors are too hot to touch. The bed is too hot to sleep in. The water's too hot to bathe in. This is the duality of this world. So in Vrindavan there's no duality, it's the absolute reality. Shitalam, shitalayam, cooling. The hearts of the conditioned souls are in top. The word top in Sanskrit, top means fire. Burning fire, scorching heat. So it's, the top comes in different forms. It comes in calm top, crowed top, and lobe top. The fire of lusty desires, kama top. The fire of greed, lobha top. And krodha top, as everyone knows, the fire of anger. They're all three fires. One ignites the next one. When the lust gets hot, then we become greedy. When the greed gets too hot, then we become angry. These three fires. So the heart is burning with these fires, the conditioned souls, and they need some cooling relief. So Vrindavan is that place, is that abode. Vrindavan is cooled. What is cooling about? What is cooling? What do hearts need? They need the nectarian mellows of ecstatic love. Premamrita rasa. This will cool the heart. Anything short of this will not cool the heart. Even a man falls in love because of his lust, he finds one woman and marries her. And that satisfies his greed, his lust, and his anger will come out after he's married. So the three fires will be fully engaged by getting married. Fire of lust, greed, and anger. Very nice. And he's thinking, or she's thinking falsely, that this marriage will actually cool my heart. There'll be shitalyam, shitalayam. They'll be cooled by these rays. But in fact, the heart becomes more hot. And that's why people are unsatisfied, because they thought that if I got married, that marriage would be like a huge monsoon rain to put out the fire in my heart. But I found that when I got married, my wife became a tanker of petrol. She became a whole tanker of petrol on wheels. And she rolled into my heart and unloaded her whole tank of petrol, and my heart became even more burning. And then I started searching. I want relief. I want some cooling relief. And Prabhupada Saraswati is saying Vrindavan is that relief. Relief work is going on here. Vrindavan is all about relief work. People are being relieved and cooled by the nectarine mellows of ecstatic love. Premamrita rasa. Vrindavan is filled with many desire trees and chirping birds. Therefore, who will not be attracted to Vrindavan? What is the ultimate attraction? What is the ultimate satisfaction? And what is the ultimate Premamrita ras? Is the place, Vrindavan is the place where Radha and Krishna are eternally enjoying their pastimes. Radha Krishna achala viharito kasya nayati cheta. They're achala virito. They're just wandering everywhere in Vrindavan, enjoying Holy Leela, Julian Leela, Jalke Leela, Dan Leela, Ban Vihar, and Kunja Krida, and Ras Leela, everywhere. Throughout the land of Vrindavan, Churasi Kosh, they're wandering 168 square miles, having Leela everywhere. In every direction they're having Leelas and pastimes of ecstasy and ecstatic love. The land of Vrindavan is charged with all these remnants of Leelas. Vrindavan is full of the Mahaprasad of Radha and Krishna's love. So when you live here, you get a lot of Mahaprasad. The water is Mahaprasad, the land, the Brajabhumi is Mahaprasad, because it's already been enjoyed. The water's been enjoyed by Radha and Krishna. The land has been enjoyed by the beautiful dancing footprints of Radha and Krishna. The tree's been embraced by Radha and Krishna. The flower has been plucked and touched by Radha and Krishna. The creepers have been planted by Radha and Krishna. The birds are singing for Radha and Krishna. The deer are prancing for Radha and Krishna. So they're all enjoyed by the Lord. And the whole land of Vrindavan is Mahaprasadam for the devotees. People say, oh, you want some Mahaprasadam? This land of Vrindavan is Mahaprasadam. There's another translation we can see in this verse. Vrindavan is illuminated by numberless moons of spiritual bliss. It is cooled by the sweet nectar of spiritual love. Then it is filled with desire trees and many hosts of madly cooing birds. Whose heart will not run to Radha and Krishna, who enjoy eternal transcendental pastimes in that Vrindavan? Actually, this last line is a very accurate translation of the actual verse. Because achala means moving, virito, riddhi means heart. Achala means moving heart. So Radha and Krishna's hearts are moving in Vrindavan. But then he says, nayati cheta, no yati. Yati means like a person goes on yatra, I believe is a yati. He's saying, whose heart will not go to that place where Radha and Krishna are wandering? The heart should run there. They say, people always make fun of this point. They get these t-shirts in Loi Bazaar, I left my heart in Vrindavan. But the heart should be running to Vrindavan. Wherever it is, if your heart is not, if you're not living here with your heart, then wherever you are, wherever you may be, your heart should be running to Vrindavan. Running to Vrindavan means reaching out to Radha Krishna's Braj Leela. Running to Vrindavan means reaching out to Katha about Radha and Krishna. And reaching out to Vrindavan means associating with devotees from Vrindavan. Reaching out to Vrindavan means chanting the names of Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan. It's Rasabihari and Damodar and Vrindavaneshwari Radha and Krishna Chandra, Vrindavan Chandra, all these names that are full of Vrindavan Leelas. This is Vrindavan. So this is another verse to enchant our hearts about Vrindavan and to convince us once and for all, in this life, hopefully at some time in this life, if not immediately or if not already, one will realize that the goal of life is to live forever in Vrindavan, as a sadhaka, as a siddha, in Bhoma Vrindavan, in Aprakat Leela or in Prakat Leela. This is the goal of life, the prayojana tattva, means to live somewhere with someone forever. This is the goal. So the goal of spiritual life for the Gaudiyas is to live in Vrindavan forever with someone, Radha and Krishna and their parishads, in their eternal service. Goal of life means many things. We say goal of life is Krishna Prem. Alright, that's the goal of the heart. The heart must be saturated with bhav and prem. The body must be somewhere. We must have a spiritual body. It must be, the goal of life is also Vrindavan. And the goal of life is to be in association with so many devotees. And the goal of life is to take that prema-filled heart, that Krishna prem-saturated heart, and serve Radha and Krishna and all their associates in Vrindavan. We have to fix the goal in our minds and our hearts. Our hearts should run to the goal. Our minds should run to the goal. Our minds should always remember the goal. Our hearts should always remember the goal. And we should question ourselves, what am I doing? What am I doing and where am I doing what I'm doing? What am I doing and where am I doing what I'm doing? And then the next question, why am I doing this? Do I have to do this? What's keeping me from Vrindavan? Is it money? Is it desire? Is it material desires? Is it money? Is it attachment? Is it illusion? Verse 10, chapter 2. Radha Krishna Parama Kutukad Yalata padapanam chitva pushpadikam urvidam shlagamano jusate sanadyam yat sarasi kututa kelato yat kagadye brindaranyam paramam tanna sevate koha. Who will not like to serve that beautiful land of Vrindavan, where Radha and Krishna decorate themselves with varieties of flowers that they happily pick from the trees and creepers, where Radha and Krishna take bath and enjoy various water sports in the lakes, and where they play with the birds and creatures. Parama paramam tan sasevita kova. Tan na seva. Who would not like that? Parama paramam. Param param yavi param. Vrindavan is the parama paramam tan. The topmost place imaginable in the entire universe. This is chapter 2, verse 10. Happily picking many kinds of flowers from the trees and vines, Radha and Krishna praise the forest of Vrindavan. Radha and Krishna bathe and sport in the lakes of Vrindavan forest, and they play with the birds and other creatures there. Oh yes, Sarasi, Kututa, Sanadyam Sarasi, they bathe in the various various lakes, Sarasa, things with ras. Who would not serve Vrindavan forest, the supreme transcendental abode, the Parama Paramam Tan? He's saying this as he's looking at the Yamuna meandering by his ashram or his small kutir at Kaliyadaha. Who would not want to serve this Vrindavan? He's thinking, what is wrong? Because I'm praying to have the same mindset of Prabhupada Saraswati. I'm praying to have the same mental outlook toward Vrindavan that he has, and which he's sharing with us in these verses of the Vrindavan Mahimamrita. How he sees Vrindavan, how he feels Vrindavan, how he remembers Vrindavan, how he experiences Vrindavan. To enter his views and enter his feelings and enter his realizations. Oftentimes in acting, when actors study acting, there are different techniques of drama that are discussed and taught throughout the world in various acting and drama schools. There's one famous Russian person, can't remember his name, Stalensky, I think. Stalensky or something like this. And he developed this idea that the actors have to lose their identity completely. Whatever identity they have as men or women or whatever, contemporary, and if they're playing the part of some hero or heroine from 300 years ago, they have to go back in that time, 300 years. They have to enter fully into the psychology and physique and everything of that actor, actress that they're portraying in the drama. And they have to lose their identity, and he gives so many techniques to do that. And consequently, his drama performance is directed by him with his movie actors, or whatever, rather his players in the drama. They were so successful and famous that books are written about this style of the psychology, the absorption of psychology of the actor. He has to become, it's like pranaya, he has to become one in mind, heart, and body. Of course, we also have a similar idea in this Rag Marg, Raganuga Bhakti. Narottam Das Thakur is describing in Prem Bhakti Chandrika that when one should so much identify with his Siddha Deha, his Antaschinta Deha, his revealed Siddha Deha given by Guru, or revealed by his own desire or by the mercy of the parishads or even his own intense hankering for a particular siddhadeha which he or she desires to realize upon attaining the level of bhava and receiving that divine descent of mercy, which will bring with it all revelation and bhava, this bhava bhakti. Then one meditates on that desired siddhadeha, and he's told there in Prema Bhakti Chandrika, one should fully identify that this is me, this is really me. And this external form or appearance or designation or upadhi that I'm masquerading as is not me at all. This is a temporary tabernacle that I'm moving in for some time, and I'll leave this material body, this mortal coil, but really I'm somewhere else in my consciousness, in my mentality, my heart. And sometimes the devotees are so much meditating on their identity and serving and lila, they become tanmoy with the lila, they become one with the lila, and identifying with their internal spiritual identity as a particular manjari, maidservant of Radharani, that when they're in their rooms and they're meditating on Astakali Lila, they may speak. They may besides out externally there may be some voice, and Rupa Manjari, they'll say, yes Rupa, I'll go get those bakul flowers. And then, but the voice they're speaking in is their Manjari voice. It's very high pitched sound, like a lady's voice, like a young girl's voice, like a 12-year-old girl's voice. Manjaris are 12 or 13 years old, and it'll be a very high pitched voice. And then the sadhakas or maybe some disciples or whatever, they're in the ashram or nearby or outside the room, and they hear it late at night, 1 o'clock, 12, whatever, and they hear this young girl's voice. And looking at each other, what is that? Who is that? It's coming from Guruji, it's coming from Krishna's Baba's room. But who's there? Some Braja Kanya's there, or some girl, Kishori Gopi from Vrindavan is there? So in the morning they wait outside. In the morning they go in to serve this Krishna's Baba, and nobody's there but Krishna Das. And then everyone's a little bit nervous. What happened? What did we hear? Were we imagining things? Or hearing voices? So someone, a little more bold one, he said, Baba, last night we heard some high voice, like some very young, beautiful sounding voice of some young girl. Like, who is that? And then Krishna's Baba was rather shy and a little embarrassed about that. So he kept quiet and hung his head down. And then the disciple was pressing a little bit, and he said, was that you? And then he said, that was me. No, he said, yes, that was not me, but that's I was in my Manjari Sarup. Maybe I was speaking, I don't know, I was so much in meditation, I was not aware that I was speaking anything on this plane. I was so absorbed in Leela Pravation, Leela. These things happen. They're rare and seemingly extraordinary, but it shows the extent of submersion of one's false acquired identity due to his sanskaras and karma, and adopting so deeply and so profoundly his eternal internal identity, his antas chintadeya, as his nitya siddha deya, spiritual form, identifying mentally with that complexion and that bhav and that mood and that seva and those leelas, and then your interplay and interaction with Rupa Manjari and Lalita Sakhi and Brindadevi and Purnamasi Yogamaya and your own Guru Sakhi and Parampara, in the context of the various leelas and the different leela styles in different times throughout the day and night. And even sometimes one is speaking in that voice privately. So this is Vrindavan, is meant to bring us to that level. And we're discussing this verse 10 from chapter 2. What Radha and Krishna do in Vrindavan. Because the author is asking a question. Who will not like Kova na seva? Kova na seva, Vrindavan. Paramam. Who would not like to serve there? Let me tell you about this Vrindavan. Do you know what happens in Vrindavan? Why would you want to serve there? Radharani and Shyam Sundar, they wander in the forest and they pick flowers with their own lotus hands. They're happy. They very happily pick flowers from the trees and creepers. Then sometimes they go to Manasaganga, or they go Pavan Sarovara in the evening time, or in the afternoon they go to Radhakund and they bathe. Sometimes in noontime they bathe in Manasa Pavan Ghat, or they bathe in Radhakund. Or in the late afternoon, early evening, in the summertime they bathe in Pavan Sarovara. And they enjoy various water sports in the lakes. And also, Radha and Krishna, they play with the birds. And they play with the creatures there, the peacocks. That Krishna sometimes dances with them and plays the flute and interacts with them. And they pet the deer and they pet the cows and they interact with them. Wouldn't you like to come and serve in that place, in that Vrindavan? So he's trying to sell the idea. He's first asking a question. Wouldn't you like to serve that Paramam Dhama Vrindavan, Sridham Vrindavan? All these wonderful birds and flowers and Radha and Krishna are so much enjoying there and picking the flowers. You can be there. You can be part of that. You can see that and assist in their pleasure pastimes and render some wonderful intimate service there in association with these latas and creepers and trees and deer and other creatures, and what to speak of the gopis. This is Vrindavan. Chapter 3, verse 92. Well, these are continuing series of verses about the enchantment of the love land of play, Sridham Vrindavan. Tat Kalindi Vipula Pulinam Sa Chambrindavana Shri Sa Suchaya Nivada Nivada Shri Kadamba Drumanam Sa Vaidagdi Maya Navavaya Shri Saki Mandali Te Gorashame Rasikam Hasi Kasyano Mohanaya. He's asking more questions. Who will not be bewildered by the beauty of the fair and dark complexioned transcendental couple of Vrindavan? Gorasham Rasik Mahasi Mohanaya Mohanaya Mahasi Rasika Mahasi. Where is that Vrindavan? Who will not be bewildered by Radha and Krishna? And who will not be bewildered by the vast forests that are situated in the banks of the Yamuna? Who will not be bewildered by the beauty of those forests of Vrindavan? And who will not be bewildered by the cooling shade of the beautiful Kadamba trees? And who will not be bewildered by the fresh young gopis who are full of transcendental ecstasy? Navavaya Shri Saki Mandali Te Vaidagdi Maya Shri Saki Mandali Navavaya. Navavaya means they're ever Vaya Sandhi. Vaya Sandhi means a juncture of youth and from youth to a woman, a youth to a man. That juncture of just borderline entering puberty, called Vaya Sandhi. Sandhi means a juncture of ages. Navavaya Sandhi says Vaidagdi Maya. There's so much wonderful cleverness, and they're saturated with such Vaidagdi spirit of enchantment and cleverness that Nava, that fresh youth, like we say that sometimes Krishna is like a freshly blooming youth, and Radha and the gopis are like freshly blooming youths. And the Sri Sakhi Mandali, that whole Mandali of the Sakhis are all so beautiful and decorated with these qualities. There's a second translation of this verse. This is the broad bank of the Yamuna. Kalindi Vipula Pulinam. Yamuna Pulinam. You've heard this song? Yamuna Pulinam. Kalindi Vipula. Kalindi Vipula Pulinam. Brindavana Shri. This is the broad bank of the Yamuna. This is the beauty of Vrindavan forest. This is the very thick shade of beautiful kadamba trees. These are the two fair and dark effulgent splendors that drink nectar. Rasika Mahasi. Who would not become enchanted by all this? So apparently he's met a friend. A curious friend has come to visit Prabhupada Saraswati. And that friend named Curiosity, he's taking him by the hand. And he's walking with him, and he's pointing out different enchanting features of Vrindavan. He says, look, my friend, look at this Yamuna Pulin. Look at these broad banks of the Yamuna Tata. Isn't it beautiful? The sand of the Yamuna is glistening like powdered camphor under the moonshine. Looks like just powdered diamonds, powdered crystals. So beautiful, so soft, so attractive, so cooling and refreshing. This is where the divine couple dance and the rasa dance. So they're looking at the Yamuna. They see the Yamuna and the banks. And then Prabhupada Saraswati turns with his back, keeps his back to the Yamuna. Then he tells his friend, my friend Curiosity, look, you see here, these are all the forests, all the Kunjavans of Vrindavan. See these forests? This is the beauty of the Vrindavan forest. And now they walk into the forest together. Prabhupada Saraswati and his friend named Curiosity. And he says, see, look there. See that beautiful grove of trees? That's a Kadamba Kandi. Those are Keli Kadamba trees. That's where Krishna calls the gopis. This is Terakadam. Kadamba Kandi, Terakadam. Krishna calls the gopis there. He goes in the trees and he plays his flute. And the wind carries his flute song from Terakadamba Nandagram. It carries it east to Yavat Gram. And the gopis are in their house and they hear, oh, the flute. And then they tell their mothers, oh, we have to go pick flowers in the Kadamba Kandi for Sriya Puja. Let us go, it's only down the road. Okay, you go there, it's very close by, it's a very safe place, it's just near Yavat. You walk across the field, you come back soon. Yes, ma'am. So that is the beautiful Kadamba Van, my friend. And then they enter that Kadamba Kandi and they see, that's Terakadamba. Oh, my friend, look, see those young girls. Those are the beautiful young Vaidagdi. He's translating Vaidagdi as intelligent. Because Vaidagdi can mean intelligent. It usually means clever. It's like Vaidagdi Madhav, or Vaidagdi Shama Radha. Those are the young, clever, expert gopis who love Krishna completely. Just see the beauty of the gopis. And then in the middle of the gopis, Prabhupada Saraswati says, oh, but they're actually surrounding. In the middle of the gopis, you see, look, there's an opening here between these gopis. In the middle of the gopis, sitting on that beautiful asan, shaped like a 8-petal lotus flower, 16-petal lotus flower. Look, you see, there is the dark and golden divine couple. Look how beautiful they are. Aren't you becoming enchanted by all this? So this is what he's asking his friend Curiosity as he's taking him by the hand and showing him all the different features of the beautiful land of Vrindavan. Yamuna Yamuna Pulina, the banks of the Yamuna where the Rasa dance goes, and the Kunjavans, where so many beautiful leelas go. And that's the Udipan, where the Prem leelas, and then the Vivav, the Alamban Vishai of Krishna, Alamban Ashray, the reservoir of love, the object of love. See there, all the gopis and Radha and Krishna are all there. They're about to have their beautiful leelas. Aren't you enchanted by all this? He's asking. So we're asking the same question. Aren't you all enchanted by hearing all this?
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Jaya Radha, Shama Sundara Radha, Shama Sundara Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radha, Shama Sundara Radha, Shama Sundara Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe.
Vatsala Sri Gaura Hari Vajabhakata Vatsala Sri Gaura Hari Sri Gaura Hari Sahi Goshta Bihari Nanda Jasomati Chita Hari Dhira Damodara Ishaye Kana Bhova Mandire Bashi Karaha Bojana Nandirani Deshi Bashi Giri Baradari Baladeva Saha Saka Vaise Sari Sari Shukta Shakhari Vaji Lalita Kushmanda Dalidana Dugda Tumi Dadi Mocha Kanda Dabora Mash Boda Roti Kabritana Chaskuli Pistaka Kir Puli Payasana Kapura Amrita Keli Ramba Kirashara Amrita Rasalamba Dvadasha Pakora Luci Sinisar Puri Ladura Sabali Bhojana Korena Krishna Hoye Kutuhali Radhikara Pakayana Bibida Byanjana Paramayanande Krishna Korena Bhojana Chale Bale Ladu Khai Sri Madhu Mangala Bagala Bajaya Deya Hari Bolo Radhikari Gani Hari Nayane Rakone Tripta Hoye Khai Krishna Jasoda Bhavani Bhojanande Priya Krishna Subhasita Bari Sabe Mukha Prakaloy Kore Sari Sari Asta Mukha Prakaliya Jata Sakagane Anande Vishrama Kore Baladeva Sane Jambula Rasalane Shambula Masala Tahake Krishna Chandra Suke Nidradeva Vishalaka Shiki Pucha Chamara Dulaya Apurva Sayaya Krishna Suke Nirayaya Yasomati Anga Priye Danishtaya Nito Sri Krishna Prasad Radha Unje Hoye Prito Lalitari Saki Gana अवशेष पाया मन मन सुखे राधा कृष्ण गुण गाया हरि लीला एकमात्र जहाँ प्रमोदा भोगारती गाय ठाकुर भक्ति विनोद भक्त वत्सल श्री गौर हरि भज भक्त वत्सल श्री गौर हरि श्री गौर हरि सहि गोष्ठ बिहारी श्री गौर हरि सहि गोष्ठ बिहारी नंद जसोमती चित हरि नंद जसोमती चित हरि भज गोविंद गोविंद गोपाला भज गोविंद गोविंद गोपाला भज गोविंद गोविंद गोपाला भज गोविंद गोविंद गोपाला এবার করুণা করো বৈষ্ণব গোসাই পতিত পাবন তোমার বিনে কেহ নাই। দাসনে পবিত্র করো এই তোমার দাসনে পবিত্র করো এই তোমার হরিস্থানে অপরাধে হরে হরি তোমাস্থানে অপরাধে নহি তোমাস্থানে অপরাধে নহি তোমার হৃদয়ে সদা গোবিন্দ গোবিন্দ কোহেন মোর বৈষ্ণব পরা গোবিন্দ কোহেন মোর বৈষ্ণব পরা প্রতি জন্মে করি আশা চরণের ধূলি নারথমে কর দয়া আপনার বলি নারথমে কর দয়া আপনার বলি বড় করুণা করো বৈষ্ণব বড় করুণা করো বৈষ্ণব জয় বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর জয় বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর জয় বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর জয় বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর
See you all later. Hare Krishna.